Peace to you, brothers. I just wanted to transition a little bit from my three-dimensional videos into a two-dimensional video and talk about the state of boxing. For you brothers who follow boxing, I know you understand what's going on now. Boxing is kind of at a standstill. A lot of brothers are upset because they won't sanction the big fights, things of that sort. And I understand that and I get it. But I got some bad news for you brothers. They're done with boxing. Professional boxing is done, is over with. Let me explain. Remember when Floyd Mayweather, he used to promote Floyd Mayweather Productions or the Money Team Productions, TBA Production, whatever the case may be. Floyd Mayweather was making the transition from being the best fighter of his generation to being one of the head promoters in the boxing game. And if you notice, Floyd Mayweather hardly even talk about that aspect of his life right now. When we see Floyd Mayweather, he flaunt his money and things of that sort, which that's his business. He do what he want to do with his own money. But when you see him most of the time now, that's what he doing most of the time. And in my view, Floyd Mayweather has took a step back and really haven't been on the scene when it comes to his promotion, because the Caucasian elite that runs boxing behind the scene don't want him to be at the forefront of helping boxing go to the next level. I've been telling you, brother, for a very long time now. The Caucasian elite, the Caucasian Jew runs everything, especially sports. And we will never have sports the way we want it, and we will never be able to enjoy it the way we want to enjoy it unless we own our own professional sports organization, etc. You understand that? Now, the WBA, the WBO, all them organizations that helps give away these titles and promote these fights and to keep boxing on the direction that it's on, they don't care as long as they making their money. And I tell you brothers all the time, everything is about agenda. And the powers that be don't want the so-called black man to be ahead of any organizations in these last days. It's a wrap. It's over with. And I've been telling you brothers that. The NBA for the last 30 years, 40 years have been 80% so-called black. And I mentioned this one time before in another video. And now, as you can see, the foreign players is taking over. And the face of the NBA is not the so-called black man anymore of the captivity of America. The foreign players now is going to be the faces of the NBA. I've been telling you brothers that for a long time. Same way with the NFL now. With the NIL deals going on, other races of men is going to get deals, and other races of men is going to be creeping in the NFL like never before. And it's going to go from 65% so-called black men in the NFL to like 50%. And we're no longer going to be the face of the NFL either. That's why they gone woke now. And what I mean by woke is acting like they care about the black man plight acting like they care about racism, empowering women, empowering homosexuals. That's the reason why the NFL is doing that. Everything is agenda based now. Now they're trying to turn their power over to the WNBA with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and those dykes in the WNBA. They actually want the WNBA to be larger than boxing, and it's gonna become that way, because boxing is the last sport that showcased masculinity. Most of you brothers know, in the 80s, 90s, even before then, even when boxing first existed, it was all about the man. That represent masculinity. And of course, female boxing came, later on. But everybody know when it's come to comeback sports, boxing, it's a manly sport. And most of when we were coming up, your girlfriend, she enjoyed boxing because you enjoyed it. And she looked at it as a masculine thing. But they want to get rid of masculinity so bad that they don't even care about boxing ratings anymore. They'll rather get that out the way to keep the agenda going. That's fuck masculinity. Excuse my language. Because they look at that as male chauvinist. So that's the reason why they promote now female boxing more than ever. I forget that girl name. Clarissa Shields, and the list goes on. They're gonna be promoting her and other female boxers more than they're gonna promote the big male boxers, because everything is going over to the woman now. They don't want to no longer see somebody like a man like Floyd Mayweather talking about how great he is in the camera. And him dominating the sport. And he getting so much attention. They don't want to see that anymore. Because that promotes male leadership. That promotes too much male power. All this women commentators and women analysts and all that stuff, they doing that on purpose to get rid of masculinity. And boxing is the last one that they want to start working on to complete their mission. Well, so-called complete their mission, because it's not going to work overall. Because man is still going to be most dominant. The Most High still made man the head. The Most High still made the man the leader. And I mean this in all due respect. Women cannot lead flies to shit. The Most High, he created us men to do that from day one. That's why men create ships, bombs, build bridges. They run societies. And it's gonna forever be like that. Now, if women contribute, it's because the man let them contribute. And man put them in certain spots. And that's just the way that is. Now, I tell brothers all the time, yeah, I want to see the best fighters fight against each other. No doubt I want to see that. But you take a look, around what's going on, fellas. When it comes to the heavyweight, Tyson Fury, even though he done lost his last 2 fights, that's what we have to offer. He got some skills, no doubt about it. But look at his body. That's what we've been programmed to say our best heavyweight has been. He has been the best heavyweight the past 5 or 6 years, no doubt. But that's who we got. Like I said before, they don't want the so-called black man to be the face of any professional sport. You look around. All these so-called black men in America, all these professional boxers from the past that's retired, most of them don't have sons or ancestors that they don't help train or that have been brought up in the boxing game. That, don't you find that odd? All these professional so-called black boxers, or even just boxers, period, no matter what the race is, all of them got relatives that they can help bring up in the professional boxing. But you don't even see that. It's not many superstar fighters out there. And the ones that's out there, they on their way out. You know, we want to see Canelo and Terrence Crawford fight each other, but look at their ages, 35, 36 years old, 34, somewhere in that range. They're on their way out. Who we got coming up after that? Shakur Stevens pretty good. Tank Davis is good. He's great. He got a chance to be all-time great. But look at his Instagram. He's dressing like a woman. He looking like a woman. You see what I'm saying? You don't see any young boxers, young talent coming up that you can tell like, oh man, this boxer got potential to be like Sugar Ray Leonard, or a young Floyd Mayweather, or Marvin Hagler, or young Mike Tyson. You don't see that in these young fighters. Why? Because they don't want that. Because they trying to make boxing believe it or not, they trying to make boxing extinct. They want the MMA to take over boxing, and I think it get more ratings than boxing now. And like a wise man told me, the MMA was just another sport that they wanted white men to feel like they tough again. And see, the Caucasian man, they get together because their mindset is a ruling mentality. Like, we got the ability to create. And they create things for their race. And then they'll bring us in the fold to help build what they created. That's what Dana White did with the MMA. And that's my point. If we want our sports that we dominate in to be the way we want it to be, we gonna have to create our own thing. Whatever is dominate at the time, they got to have their face on it. The Caucasian man got to have their face on it. And that's why the MMA is so big. Because Dana White said, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna make it to where it is. And they got a white face on it. Don't nothing have a so-called black face on it. As look, we running this. Look how big our sport is. All that stuff is gone now. And it hurts my heart when it comes to the NBA. How it was so dominated by so-called black men in the 90s with Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson in the 80s. You know, even though Larry Bird was a so-called white man, but overall the so-called black man was dominating the NBA. And even though the Caucasians ran the sport, everybody knew that so-called black men, they ran the NBA. Yeah. When it comes to basketball, no other race can compete with the black man. And I see that with boxing now. It's a wrap. And I heard Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim, and I forgot who else was on First Take that day. And I think they was talking to Dana White. Yeah, they was talking to Dana White. And they were asking Dana White, can he take over boxing before they can start getting the best fighters to go against each other? Always begging the white man to come to the rescue. But the thing is that what I'm trying to make you brother understand that it's enough former fighters out there that still love boxing, that can train these young fighters, no matter if they're family members or whatever. They can train these fighters up to be great. They can train them for what they learn, and we can get a lot of more great boxers out there, and boxing can come back up like the way it used to be. But they don't want to deal with those former boxers because they're not doing certain things behind closed doors, and they don't want boxing to be on that level anymore because it represents masculinity. It represents so-called black masculinity. Any race, period, but mostly us. They don't want to see us, like I said before. So, I know this video may sound a little far-fetched for you brothers, but I'm telling you, I'm not a perfect dude. I'm not saying I got all the answers. I'm not saying I know everything, but I know what I see. I know what's going on behind closed doors, and I know what the direction that the society is going in. So the conclusion of this video is, and I could be wrong because I'm not the almighty, but my conclusion is that boxing is finished. After Tank Davis and the fighters around his age, after that wave passed through, boxing is going to be almost last on the total poll when it comes to sports. And it used to be in the top 3. Boxing at one time was actually more popular than the NBA and the NFL way back in the day. And I know some of you brothers are like, well, it ain't about the powers that be. You blame it on these fighters don't want to fight each other. All of them want to go undefeated and be like Floyd Mayweather. That's the reason why boxing is at the bottom now. That's the reason why it's suffering. Nah, that's some of it. And trust me, brothers, the WBO, the WBA, these promoters can get these fights done if the mob and the powers that be behind closed doors who run it, the Caucasian Jew who run sports and who run boxing, if they tell them to get it done, they will get it done. Point blank. But like I told you, they don't want to get it done.